It's your friendly neighborhood Sarah here. Hello. So for those of you new folks that are new to my channel and you're wondering what it's all about, there's a link up above to some random video that will get you caught up on life. Okay, for everybody else, this video I'm cutting out all the BS. I'm going straight to work because I have project cars that you guys deserve to see progress made on them, and I want to get them done in both driving and on the road. So I'm just gonna shut up after this and we're gonna go into a big time lapse of me putting in work on both the TT and the MR2. But first, can we not appreciate this shirt that I spent many hours working on? I designed this in Photoshop, but it was a lot of work to turn Forrester Gump into an animated car. There's a link somewhere down below if you want one. That's the only time I'm gonna plug my merch. Okay, time to go to work. And there you go. I know it doesn't seem like it from the footage you just watched, but that was actually about 6 or 7 hours of labor that I've done on this car last night. I started yesterday evening with the door handle removal because I have to take these things to get shot with paint. And while I had the door handle off, which mind you, it took like an hour and 20 minutes to get these door handles off, because I was being really cautious not to break the little plastic tab that attaches right here to this rod, because it's really old and I don't want to break it because I won't be able to get a new one. So once I got that apart, I figured, well, I do have new speakers for this car, so I might as well put them in because the old ones were crap. And the little surround pieces I bought for the speakers don't really fit that great, but I don't really care because I'm not like super big into having crazy stereos in cars. That doesn't really bother me. So as long as it's got speakers now that aren't blown, we're good to go. So now that that's done, I also went on and did some more sanding because I had to do up around the windshield, some more spots on the roof, and then of course where I took off the door handles, and there's a couple spots where I had to touch up with some clear coat, and I'm waiting for it to dry, and I'm going to wet sand over the clear coat right there. And then of course these body panels, I have to primer and do a little bit of body work on them. And right now, as it is scheduled, I am shooting these panels on Thursday. So you're watching this on a Wednesday. The day following, I am going to be painting these panels to put back on the car. I'm getting a text message. You're probably like, why didn't I just shoot the entire car if I had to do so many panels? And the reason why is cost. This project is being done on a budget, and I think a lot of you can appreciate that because in the scheme of project cars on YouTube, a lot of them just seem unobtainable because there's so much money that goes into them. And well, I don't have tons of money to put into my project cars, so I'm doing this on a budget. I'm working with what I have, doing what I need to do to get it to look good without going over the top. Is it the best way of doing it? No, the best way would have been if I would have shot this entire car. That's what I really wish I could have done, but I'm doing this, like I said, on a budget. so it's more realistic and obtainable of a project car, which leads to the question, how much money do I have in my project cars? So, how much money is in Mr. Dose? Take this back to a year ago, just after I started making videos 2 or 3 times a week on this YouTube channel. I bought Mr. Dose. It was a joint project with my ex-boyfriend, and we were going to fix this car together as a flip car. So the car was originally purchased for $2,600. After purchasing the car, we figured out that the car did not run and it had a lot of electrical issues, plus there was just random leaking gaskets on the engine, so I decided to pull the engine on the car, which I did, and all this stuff is in videos for all you new folks, so there's tons of links for all the progression that's been made on this car. So, pulled the engine on the car, went through and re-gasketed everything. It had all new gaskets, new water pump, new timing belt. Basically, the refresh on the engine cost about $400. The JDM CT20B Turbo also cost me $400, so now we're at $800. The clutch line that I replaced from the front to the rear of the car, that entire process ended up costing me another $120. Plus miscellaneous other little things that I've replaced, AC compressor and filters and stuff for the AC system, paint supplies for the car, that was another $150. Then I bought some parts at the junkyard when they found a wrecked MR2 there, and got some miscellaneous interior parts and just crap that I needed for the car that was missing. That cost another $100 right there. So now we're sitting at like $1,200 or so. I then purchased some crappy intercooler piping off of eBay, thinking that was going to be somewhat halfway decent, and it wasn't, as well as a Burke downpipe and a eBay crap exhaust that doesn't fit that well. There's another $700 there. That puts us at $4,700, as well as the head unit and the new floor mats that I just put in the car. All in all, there is about $49,000, we can round up if you want to $5,000 invested in the MR2 so far, total $5,000. The car has 76,000 miles on the chassis. It is a clean title. It was originally non-turbo, but everything has been converted over to make this a turbo car. So except for the axles and transmission, it still has non-turbo transmission and axles, which I think is a benefit if you don't push high horsepower because of the closer gear ratios. Plus probably like 1,000 hours at least of labor into this car. But I mean, if you think about it, all the videos that I've made off of this car, creating content for you guys, I mean, this car was what basically started my YouTube channel. It's the first project I really had on there other than Forrester Gump, but he's not really a project. So I decided to keep it, despite my first initial instinct was to sell a car when my ex-boyfriend and I split up, just because it reminded me a lot of him and it made me sad. And once I finally got over that, I kind of like had a special place in my heart for the MR2. I can't give up on Mr. Dose. Skis. This was bothering the crap out of me. Look how nasty that was. Thankfully, one of my subscribers sent me a brand new one, which these are really hard to find for some reason. This weird type of terminal that holds the nut in place. So he sent me one and I swapped it out. Good to go. Hi, Felicia. Let me get cozy here. All right, teeter tot. This car I purchased back in like July or so for $2,500 sight unseen up in Salt Lake City, Utah. And then Sarah, my roommate, and I drove it back the same day we flew up there to Tucson. And this thing was in no means conditioned to be driving 800 miles, let alone like 8 miles. It was rough. You guys should definitely check out that video. There's a link up above if you have not seen the road trip to get teeter tot, because personally I feel it was one of the best videos I've ever made, and I just really enjoyed making it. A lot of heart went into that video, so check it out if you haven't seen it. First issue I had to address was the fact the all-wheel drive did not work on this car. The drive shaft was zip tied and duct taped up under the car with the guibo bushings disconnected and the Haldex fuse pulled. So I bought a drive shaft for this car, as well as the 2 front axles were replaced. Between the drive shaft and the two front axles, I spent roughly $450. Let's just round that up to an even $3,000 because there was other little miscellaneous stuff that I'm not going to remember when I'm telling you guys this. I then went and did a light refresh on the engine, replaced timing belt, water pump, some random gaskets, a new downpipe on the car. So all in all, with the refresh to the engine, which was roughly like, let's say $300 worth of gaskets and parts there, another $300 spent at the junkyard, and the downpipe was another $200, I believe. Fluids and everything was another $200. So that will round up the car to an even $4,000. Now, I'm also not mentioning a lot of stuff that was given to me by subscribers who have sent me parts for this car, as well as these wheels that were sponsored by Rhodes Wheels. So there are parts on here that aren't going into the value because they were sponsored for the car. So I'm not going to have a very accurate tally because you can't really count stuff that was given to me. Like the front bumper and side skirts were given to me from someone that took them off their car and mailed them to me. So there is a value on that. So on top of that $4,000, the tires were another $1,000, so it makes it $5,000. Now, I just recently spent another $700 on materials to fabricate this custom exhaust on the TT, which should hopefully be done next week. So if you want to round up some stuff that I know I'm leaving out, you could say this car has roughly $6,000 into it. Now the MR2, I also did name some parts on here that were sponsored, like the sway bars and the bracing from Ultra Racing, and some stuff that was given to me for the car, like the struts and stuff. So MR2 you can say about $5,000, the TT you can say about $6,000 into that car. Back to work. Ooh, that was sketchy. I thought I was gonna stab myself in the eye with my glasses. Dunskies. Engine cover, sanded. Upper half of rear wing, sanded, sanded. Lower half of rear wing, sanded. Engine cover side blades, sanded. Front fender, sanded. Mirrors, sanded. I am covered in red sanding dust everywhere, which really sucks because these are my new boots and they're so cute and I love them. Can never keep nice clothes. Okay, now that everything is sanded with 400 grit, I need to take the filler and fill the imperfections and then sand it again. Mind you, it is 7 o'clock at night. I have to edit this video for you guys, and it usually takes me like 10 hours to edit a video. So I'm gonna be doing that tomorrow during the day, but I'm renting the booth on Thursday, which means I need to get all this bodywork done and then resanded by Thursday and get this video edited. Alright, so this is the first time I've used this Rage Ultra Extra body filler. So it's a little bit of trial and error as far as the percentage of hardener to use with this stuff. I'm not going to try to make a big video out of just doing this because I've done it in other videos on other cars already. So I just want to get this stuff done, and I'm trying to do as much of this work off camera so we can get to the fun stuff after all this body work is done. So yeah, I guess I'll end the video here, and Thursday, fingers crossed everything goes well and this paint happens and comes out well. I'm really nervous. I've never done this before and I have a pretty big audience watching, so if I fail, don't hang me for it. At least I'm trying. And thank you guys for watching and sticking with me through this part of the project. I know the MR2 bodywork videos are getting kind of old and I'm trying to get it done as quick as I can, but it's just me doing this stuff, so I'm trying. I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye.